Shalom and welcome to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. You are listening to a Sukkot sermon by Rabbi Elliot Dorf.
It was the 1970s. I know that's a long time ago, but and you don't have to guess. I'm 79, so that's that's what I was there. And David Gordis, Perry London, and I used to go bike riding very early in the morning. At one point, David was not able to come, so Perry and I were doing it alone. Perry was a professor of psychology at USC, and later at Harvard, and later at Hebrew University. At 6 o'clock in the morning, we started biking, and he said to me, "Elliot, how do you get meaning out of life?" And I said, "Good morning, Perry." And then when I had a few moments to think about it, I said, well, one way at least is one that was modeled by a friend of mine back in junior high school and high school. He knew then that he wanted to be a dentist. So in 10th grade, when we took biology, and we both got A's in it, but it meant much more to him than it meant to me, because for him, this was his first taste of the kind of preparation he had to make in order to become a dentist. For me, it was just the next thing that you did if you were on the academic track. So one way you get meaning out of life is you have a goal and you work toward that goal. So Perry said to me, and I'm quoting him literally now, "Your Bubby and mine did not know about long-term goals, but they knew about Shacharit, Mincha, and Mariv. They knew about the weekday and Shabbat. They knew about the round of the seasons, and they knew about the cycle of life." And he said that's what gives meaning to life, namely that various times in life are marked. And one of the things that came to my mind right away was the opposite of that. Sartre's book, No Exit, in which what Sartre talks about is, in his view, every moment is like every other moment, and therefore there is no meaning to life except for what you give to it, except what you make on your own. One of the things that I think is really important to note here is what Perry was talking about, namely that these celebrations that we have of, well, Shacharit, Mincha, and Mariv every day that mark different parts of the day, the weekday and Shabbat, and now, of course, the round of the seasons. You know, of course, that the round of the seasons is mentioned in each of the last 4 books of the Torah. In the first one, you get by far the shortest version of it. This is in Exodus chapter 23. 3 times you're supposed to come you're supposed to go to Jerusalem, and you should not come empty-handed. The third one is V'chag ha'asif b'tzeit hashana v'asbachad ma'asecha min hasadeh, right? At the Feast of Ingathering at the end of the year. So if we were not city slickers, then we would know that this is the end of the agricultural year, and that therefore what you're about to have, hopefully God willing, the rainy season, to prepare us for the new agricultural year, is about to come. So this then is marking a transition from one part of our year to another. Now, of course, for our co-religionists in the Southern Hemisphere, it's a whole other story, right? In South America and in Africa and in Australia, this is the beginning of spring. So when they read these passages, they have to think very much about it as if they were in Israel. We have to think about it too. It is our, after all, Shalosh Regalim, the times when our ancestors were supposed to go up to Jerusalem. But I think for our co-religionists in the Southern Hemisphere, it is definitely much more clearly connected to Zionism, because it doesn't fit the way that their seasons actually operate. But I would say to you that if you think about the way, every culture in the world goes through the seasons of the year and marks them in different ways. Even more so, every culture in the world goes through the life cycle and marks them in different ways. And one of the ways that you can really get a sense of what a particular culture is about is to look at the way that it marks birth What are the rituals around birth, and what are the rituals saying to the people when a new baby has been born? What are the rituals about becoming an adult? What does it mean to be an adult according to the various rituals of the various cultures of the world? And marriage and death, right? One of the ways that you get a real sense of the meaning of our tradition is to compare it to other traditions on a whole series of levels, but one of them is what the traditions say to us at these seasons of the year, and especially at the seasons of life. So I would suggest to you that one of the many reasons why the Jewish tradition is really important for us is that it marks time and gives us meaning in time so that we don't have to do it on our own. It gives us a structure in which moments of every day are marked off, moments of the week are marked off, the seasons of the year are marked off, and the seasons of life are marked off.
You have been listening to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. If you enjoy these podcasts, we invite you to write a review on the Apple Podcast site or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Temple Beth Am Los Angeles, go to tbala.org.